Now, as many of you know, one of my favourite topics of discussion is bridging finance. As the owner and director of Grand Union Finance, we help tons of property investors arrange bridging finance for all manner of property projects. And in this video, I'm going to go into detail of the actual process of applying for a bridging loan from start all the way through to finish. And at the end of the video, I've got a few bonus tips on how you can make that process as quick as possible. Stick around. Hi everybody, welcome back to the video, and today, as I said, we're going to be discussing bridging finance. So I'm very excited. I hope you are too. Now, when it comes to bridging finance, many compare these to a mortgage. Now, I'm not going to go into the differences between the actual products themselves, but today we're going to be talking about the process, and many of you would have taken out a mortgage before. So it makes a lot of sense that we use the framework of applying for a mortgage to explain how we apply and how we get a bridging loan. Now, when I talk about applying for any type of finance, generally speaking, there are three main sections that we discuss. We've got the beginning section, which we call the application sort of underwriting section. We've got the valuation section, and we've got the legals. And the bonus section is when you subscribe to my channel and of course like this video. So just like with a mortgage, when we're arranging a bridging loan, we have to move through each of these sections. But as I said at the end, I'm going to talk you through a little bit as to how we can move through these sections a little bit quicker than we would do with a mortgage. Obviously, bridging finance is famous for being pretty quick. Now, let's start at the very beginning of this first section, the application section. Now, in a similar way to a mortgage, where you would get a decision in principle, we at Grand Union Finance would speak to you about your personal circumstances, the situation, and essentially go through the deal with you. We'll take enough information to be able to put together what we call a funding proposal that we're going to send to the bridging lenders for them to give us what they call their credit back terms. Essentially, this is very similar to getting a decision in principle for a buy-to-let mortgage, for example. So far, so good. Pretty similar kind of scenario. Now, generally speaking, we'll probably go to a few different lenders to get multiple terms, and we can then make a comparison to determine which is going to be the best. Now, little hint here, it isn't always going to be the cheapest when it comes to bridging, but I'm sure there'll be another video where I can discuss that at a later date. But once we've decided on which is going to be the best bridging lender for us, we need to move on to the next part of this section, which is actually to physically apply for this bridging loan. Now, we can't get away from paperwork when it comes to finance, and bridging finance is no different to that. We're going to have to fill in an application. Some lenders will have a paper-based application, some will be online, but we will work through that with you. So there'll be no actual paperwork for you to do. Either me or one of my team will be doing that for you over a phone call. We'll need to collate some supporting documentation. Generally, this will be something along the lines of ID, proof of address, credit report, etc. And most lenders will want to see proof of the funds that you have to put down as the deposit as well. We'll package all of this together and we'll get it over to our underwriter at the bridging lender, and we will then wait for their response, and hopefully it will be signed off in one go. Once this initial underwriting process has been finalised, the lender will be able to get us quotes for a valuation. In a very similar way to when we get a mortgage, the next part of this process is that the lender will want to conduct a full open market value of the property. But when it comes to a bridge, generally speaking, a lot of our clients might be buying with a bridge because the property is unmortgageable or they're going to be doing some kind of renovation project. If this is the case, then the bridging lender is going to instruct a slightly more in-depth valuation, and as such, not only will it cost a little bit more, but it will also include a lot more information. So not only will they be looking at what the current open market value is of the property right now in its current state, they'll also be looking at two other current valuations, what we call a 180 and a 90-day valuation. So essentially, if the marketing was restricted to 180 days or 6 months, or 90 days or 3 months, would that make any significant difference to the value of the property? And a little word to the wise guys is that a lot of the time these lenders actually work off the 180-day valuation. So just another little tip there for you. They're also going to be concerned about their exit, how they're going to get their money back. So the lender's going to want to know what the property value is going to be once any work has been completed. Because if you're planning on refinancing, then obviously they need to make sure that 75% of this figure is going to cover them, because that's what we're going to be getting as a mortgage. Once we get the valuation report back and hopefully everything is as expected, the underwriter will sign everything off and issue legal documents, loan documents, and an official offer, and they will be sent to your solicitor. very similar to a mortgage so far. Once those inquiries, the loan documents, etc. have been received by your solicitor, they will go through the motions of working through those inquiries. They'll probably need to get searches, same as any purchase. There'll probably be inquiries that need to be sent to the vendor, and there may be very well be stuff that they need you to sign too, not least of all the loan documents. And if you're buying a limited company, probably a personal guarantee as well. Once all these are finalised, your solicitor will issue a certificate on title, which essentially is the little tick in the box that we're ready to go and set a completion date. Once that's been done, the lender will start raising their funds and the movement of funds will start. Some lenders can take up to 5 working days to get from their bank account all the way through to your solicitors, who can then obviously complete and pay the vendor, but others can do it a little bit quicker. So as you can see, pretty linear in terms of the process. So you might actually be thinking, how do we actually make this process quicker? And I'm glad you asked. As I promised earlier on, I'm going to go through some of the ways in which we can actually speed up this process that you can't do when it comes to a mortgage application. Now, I mentioned earlier on that we've got these 3 main sections: application, valuation, legals. And as I mentioned as well, when it comes to a mortgage, and kind of as I described just now, all very sort of one after the other, very methodical, if you like. And when it comes to mortgages, there's no real way around that. The only thing maybe we might be able to do is instruct the valuation a little bit earlier, but not all lenders will allow that. So we kind of have to go through the motions of working from left to right, and there aren't really too many shortcuts. However, when it comes to bridging, I've got some great news for you, because we can actually get a bit of flexibility on how we work through this process. When we've worked with clients that need to complete mega quick, potentially in a matter of days, let alone weeks, let alone months, we need to get a shimmy on. So we will actually end up working on these sections simultaneously rather than in a linear fashion. Yes, you heard it right. Mortgage lenders will not allow you to sort of do this little shortcut, but bridging lenders are more than happy to do so. When we've done our decision in principle and we've got our credit backed terms and we go through the motions of filling out the final paperwork and submitting that application formally, at that point, not only can we get the valuation instructed straight away, but we can also instruct the legal process to start too. Generally speaking, you'll need to pay a legal undertaking for this to happen, but basically the lender's solicitors, because most lenders on the bridging side of things will have their own solicitors that will take care of their legals on their side. They will contact your solicitor before we've even finished the underwriting to start that legal process. They'll send what we call initial inquiries over, and we can be getting on with those whilst we're finalising the underwriting and the valuation, which again can be taking place concurrently. Don't get to use that word too often. And it just means that by the time we actually get to the point where the formal legal documents, the loan documents, have been issued over to your solicitor along with the offer, probably 90% of that work has already been done. And if we work on the basis that it's going to take a day to get the credit back terms and maybe another day to get the underwriting complete, and let's say a week to get the valuation done if we need a formal in-person visit for the valuation, then it might be that just a week into this process we are ready for the final legals to take place. Now, a lot of the time, the thing that actually holds us up with the legals is the searches. As many of you know, there are multiple searches that will be required of your solicitor to instruct in order for us to get the information that the lender is happy with to complete. And the one that takes the longest is going to be the local authority search. On average, it's about 30 days. However, here's another tip for you. We can actually complete before that search is back. The lenders are generally happy in the mortgage space to allow you to take out something called indemnity insurance. And what this means is they will be happy for your solicitor to send that final search to them after completion has actually taken place. So in our little timeline here, we're a week in and we're ready to pretty much complete then and there. Just need signatures on loan documents and personal guarantees, and we're pretty much ready to go. So as you can see, guys, if we work it right, we can get bridging finance done in mega quick time, even if we're using a pretty standard commercial lender. It's all about understanding the process and working that process. Keep it on top of the underwriters, keep it on top of the surveyors, keep it on top of solicitors, which is also a top tip. Make sure that you work with a solicitor that has experience working with commercial finance, because that's what bridging it comes under. Preferably actually has experience working with a lender that we're working with as well. But there you have it, guys. In a nutshell, that is the process from start to finish. That's how we can do it a lot quicker. And that's why you should definitely consider working with us at Grand Union Finance if you are looking to take out a bridging loan at any point soon. If you check out the description, you'll actually see a link that will allow you to book in a bridging call with me or one of the team at Grand Union Finance. So make sure you click on that, get yourself booked in, and we can go through your personal circumstances and talk through this process in a lot more detail, bespoke to your specific requirements. Any questions you've got, we can obviously discuss on that call, but feel free to leave them down below in the comments and I will get back to every single one of those comments. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, YouTube is thinking very, very carefully at the moment as to which of my videos you're going to enjoy next. So just stick around. They're probably here or here. And don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel. And if you've liked this video, why not actually prove it? Click the like button. I'd very much appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.